Well, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the farm. It is February 27th. I am in a t-shirt. It's an absolutely beautiful day, not just because of the weather, but because we are sugaring today. We were frozen solid here for, I tapped my trees maybe 3 weeks ago, and we were frozen solid about 4 days after that for about 10 days solid. So on Monday, today's Saturday, on Monday the sap started running again. And so collected all week long, and I'm sitting on 199 gallons of sap right now. So it is going to be a big old boil that we're doing today. Yeah, let's get it going. So I had the RO going all week, so I've got a ton of water pulled out of it. We have it down to, if I get everything that I'm sitting on from yesterday finished ROing before it goes into the pot, we should have a little bit less than 100 gallons of actual liquid that we're going to run today, because we have pulled out so much water. We're continuing to pull it out now. So got the RO going, and we actually have the fire going already. We've been at it for about an hour. The vent hood's working pretty good. It's sucking out tons of steam. And we've already got, I don't know, 12, 15 gallons boiled off already. Like I said, we've been going at it for a little bit over an hour. So we got the whole RO setup going on over here. We're on our last drum of raw sap here, condensing it down. And I will do a whole video on this setup over here. I won't do it today. I won't spend a bunch of time talking about it, because that pump right there is giving us some problems. So I'm gonna wait until this is all working the way that I want it to work before I do the video about that. But this pump system gets the concentrated sap over to the walk-in cooler, and it also gets our permeate water to storage containers that are elsewhere also. But I'm not gonna brag about it until it's working right. But we do have a bunch of condensed sap here in the cooler, and this pump is working. So right now I will show you how this setup is going, because it is time to put more sap into the warming pan. The warming pan's starting to get a little bit low, so we're going to send some of this concentrated sap out through this line and out into the warming tray. So we have our little 12-volt pump here. It's a pretty low volume pump, but it doesn't really need to be high volume. Don't really need to get this moved very fast. So it's a 12-volt pump, so there is this little inverter, I guess, because it's 12-volt DC. So we just have this on a flexible hose that we attached a piece of PEX to, so we can get it straight down into the barrel, and it can reach all three of these. And then we come out this copper line here. We come across the ceiling over to the chimney pipe here. Kind of coils around there. I'm not sure how much heat we actually get off of being coiled around the chimney pipe there, but it does look cool. I'm sure it adds something. And then this just dumps right into the warming pan. So we're gonna get that fired back up, because we're getting a little low here. It's kind of nice. This motor is actually really quiet, so it's actually running right now. The noise that you hear is actually the fan, the vent fan on the hood over here. See, we get pretty good flow. Yeah, not really getting any heat coming off of the chimney pipe. That's still pretty ice cold from being in the cooler. But it looks sweet. So we'll get this filled up. This holds about a little over 11 gallons. So we'll get about another 10 gallons put back into this. Get the hood closed back up and keep her ripping. And yes, I will be getting you the video, the second half of the walk-in cooler build. We just finished that up a couple of days ago, getting the last components installed. So I got to go back through and find all of those video clips, but I will get that one put together and get it out there for you guys, so you can see how we tricked the air conditioner into running, and we're making the air conditioner keep it as cold as a refrigerator inside of the cooler. So I've been trying to do a good job of keeping track of my totals, and then also my sap percentages each day. You can see yesterday was a real big day, 55 gallons, 2.8%. So that today, 199 gallons. Of course, that's all about, not exact. Might be a little more, might be a little less. We started at 9:45 this morning. All right, Joe, I know you're going to be watching for this. So we are capturing a good amount of the steam. There is a little bit coming out, but definitely nothing that's making it like even really feel very humid in here. We do have the garage door fully open, but it's almost 60 degrees outside today. So we're not getting as much steam as we would get if it was a cold day. But the vent hood is really doing a good job of absorbing all of the, just about all of the steam. We are right at about 4 hours in. We're filling up the warming pan again. We are boiling off between 10 to 15 an hour over the last 4 hours. So best I can tell, we're not quite through 50 gallons so far. The only problem that we're having today is, man, we are really foamy. Kind of having some foam over issues going on. So not quite keeping the fire totally ripping hot all the time. Not really into the idea of adding stuff. I know you can kind of do stuff with like butter and fats to bring the foam down, but I don't really want to add anything to my syrup. So just kind of dealing with it, scooping it off, and trying to use the damper on the firebox to kind of regulate oxygen coming in and out when it's getting too hot. Kind of just trying to close the air supply off a little bit so she doesn't boil over too much, because unfortunately the drawback of being inside is when you make a mess, you're inside, not outside. Okay guys, we seem to have come up with a solution for the boil over. Taylor, my girlfriend, she suggested, you know, when your pasta's boiling over, you set a wooden spoon on top and it kind of stops the boil over. So I just took a couple little pieces of wood and set them on here, and this seems to be doing the trick. At the very least, it's creating an edge, and it's making the foam just spill over to either side. So it's making it, at the very least, much more manageable. So at least now, I mean, you can see we had spilled off onto the floor a couple times, and that's not ideal in here on the concrete, especially when it comes to cleanup. But we only have about 15 more gallons left in the cooler that needs to work its way over to the warming tray. So maybe we'll fill the warming tray up about 2 more times, and then everything will be in the cooler, or in the evaporator. And if the sap percentages and my volume numbers were right, we should finish up with over 5 gallons of syrup today. Big day. All right, it is 5:30, so we are just short of 8 hours that we have been going back here today, and everything is in one of these 2 pans right now. So we started with somewhere, my number was 199 gallons, so that's somewhere right around 200 gallons that we started the day with. Let's see, our top pan's about half full, so there's about 6 gallons up top, and then we're about half full down here, so that should be about another 15. So we're down to around 20 gallons, maybe a little bit less than 20 gallons between the 2 pans right now. So we're getting close. Got another 14, 15 to boil off, and we should have some good syrup. You can kind of tell by the quality of the bubble down here by the draw off, we're getting pretty close. I put the thermometer in it. We're at about, we were at 217, bumped to 218 for just a second. Got a 218 reading, close to 218 reading here in the middle. So we're getting pretty close. Gonna use the temperature readings from the thermometer to get us pretty close in the ballpark, but this year I bought a real hydrometer, so I will use the hydrometer to get the actual Brix measurement to make sure that I am actually at syrup. So I've in the past, I haven't been happy at the end with some of my batches with how thin they were, and I've always taken every batch right to the same temperature. So I'm going to go ahead and use the hydrometer and bring it up to somewhere between 63 and 65 bricks. Probably going to aim for the 65 bricks just because I like that thick syrup. I think most people do also. Well, we're getting down to it. Everything is in the main evaporating pan now. It is all hands on deck. Dad, Mom's here, Taylor's here. We got infrared temperatures we're taking with the temperature gun. We got meat probes. We got the bricks meter. It's all hands on deck. For the first time, I am going to try to finish it right on the evaporator pan and not take it off and try to finish it on the little finishing pan I got. I don't think we'll have any problem getting it to syrup, but getting it off quick enough that we don't boil over or anything like that. That part is going to be the question, so fingers crossed. But we got great rich color. So we're ready for the takeoff now. We've significantly let the pan cool down. We're pulling her off. All right, guys, after we finished bottling up last night, we kind of just shut it down real quick. So it is the next morning. It is Sunday morning now, and I am just working on getting everything cleaned up back here. Got all the buckets and my big containers rinsed out and sanitized this morning, getting prepped for another week of collection and storage back here. And then now getting a small fire going with some water in the pan just to get all of the sugar sand and niter all rinsed out. Try to get some of the foam over all scrubbed off. Just to be prepared for next week. One less thing to do later on in the week once I'm back working and there's less time in the day. Oh, and total production yesterday finished up with a little bit over 7 gallons. So I think that 199 gallon eyeball that I had given it probably was a little bit on the low side. I think that the total for the week must have been up over 200 gallons. And those higher sugar contents helped to get us a little bit better production than that typical 40-to-1 ratio. You know, one day we were just shy of 3% sugar coming out of the tree, and I got 55 gallons that day. So yeah, it was a really productive week overall, but glad that big run is taken care of. Got it all bottled up. That's not something I've done before. I in the past have done my bottling later on and done it all at once, and I always kicked myself for doing that. So I had the help last night with my parents and with Taylor over here. So we went ahead and got all of that bottled and put away. Just waiting for, I got some labels coming that I'm pretty excited about. So when those get here, I'll make sure to show those to you guys as well. That's about all I got for you guys for this video. This was the biggest single boil that I've ever done. So there definitely were a few stressful moments yesterday. There were a lot of new components that we were trying to incorporate this year. Different pumps going on, different ways of cooling the sap down, the vent hood, all sorts of different variables going on. Some of them worked perfect to a T, just the way I wanted them to. Some of them crapped out on me right when I needed them to work the most. So there were a few stressful moments yesterday, but with the help of my parents and the lovely Taylor, we were able to get through it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, think about hitting that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more syrup content. And until next time, y'all, we will see you.